And the weather already impacting some transit in our city. The TTC shutting down line 3 of the subway until further notice. Shuttle buses will be running instead between Kennedy and McCowan stations. Next year, the Scarborough RT will close permanently as the Scarborough subway extension is built. And a new report is pushing for alternative solutions to shuttle buses during those years of construction. Talia Ricci has more.
For residents who rely on the Scarborough RT, today's shuttle buses could be a preview of commuting in the coming years.
The shuttle buses actually are, in my experience, are much slower and sometimes actually get stuck in traffic. It is going to affect our lives.
The TTC says the RT wasn't operating today due to the weather, but a new report by a TTCriders group says many residents are not aware that in 2023, Line 3 will close permanently, and they don't want these shuttle buses to stick around.
The vast majority of Scarborough transit users want to transform the decommissioned RT corridor into a rapid busway with green public spaces and dedicated bus lanes.
The long-term plan is the 3-step Scarborough subway extension on the TTC's Line 2. But with the project's completion not expected until 2030, buses would run between Kennedy Station to Scarborough Town Centre for at least 7 years. The report, which also proposes turning elevated portions of the line into a park, says a dedicated busway would reduce travel time and can remain in place to complement service on the subway extension.
Top of the list has been for a long time this idea of a dedicated busway.
The TTC says this is part of its own discussions, but getting the corridor ready for buses will take time.
The challenge we have with that is that we have to remove the infrastructure. We have to remove the rails and the power lines, and then we have to build on-ramps into that right-of-way. So it's not just a matter of closing down the train, the RT train, putting buses in there. It doesn't work like that.
But residents still hope shuttle buses operating the same way they are now are not included in any step of the process.
The subway replacement is just that, a replacement. We need better transit in Scarborough.
The TTC says it's been communicating next year's permanent closure through consultations, but information will ramp up once a plan is in place, which is set to be discussed at an April board meeting. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.